Prahlada and Narasimha, when truth stood before tyranny. Long ago, in the age when the world still felt close to the gods, there lived two powerful Asura brothers, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha was the first to unleash terror. In his pride, he dragged the earth down into the cosmic waters as though the world were a trophy. The universe trembled. Then Lord Vishnu appeared as Varaha, the great boar avatara, lifted the earth back to safety and defeated Hiranyaksha. When Hiranyakashipu heard his brother had fallen to Lord Vishnu, something inside him hardened into a single burning vow. I will destroy Vishnu, and I will make the world bow to me alone. Hiranyakashipu went into deep wilderness and began fierce tapasya, austerity so intense that the stories say even the gods grew uneasy. Years passed. Heat and hunger could not shake him. His will became like iron. Finally, Brahma appeared and offered him a boon. But Hiranyakashipu was not foolish. He knew Lord Brahma could not grant absolute immortality. So he asked for a set of protections, like a fortress built from loopholes. Let me not be killed by man or beast, not inside or outside, not by day or by night, not on earth or in the sky, not by any weapon. Lord Brahma granted it, and in Hiranyakashipu's mind, it was as good as immortality. He returned to his kingdom like a storm, wearing a crown. He conquered. He punished. He demanded fear. Then he demanded something even worse. He declared, "No god is above me. I alone am worthy of worship." Temples were silenced. Prayers were forbidden. People bowed, not out of devotion, but survival. And then came the strangest twist. Hiranyakashipu's own son, Prahlada, did not worship him. Prahlada was not rude. He was not arrogant. He was gentle, almost luminous in spirit, but his heart belonged to Lord Vishnu. In many tellings, Prahlada's devotion begins before he's even born. When Prahlada's mother was pregnant and the world was in chaos, she encountered the sage Narada, who taught her the essence of devotion: steadiness, compassion, surrender to the divine. Those teachings, the story suggests, reached the child in the womb like a quiet flame. So Prahlada grew up with a calm certainty. There is a power that protects all beings. It does not demand fear. It does not hunger for praise. It is present everywhere. Hiranyakashipu could not understand this. To him, worship was control, and control was everything. So he summoned his son. "Prahlada," he demanded, "who is the greatest in this world?" Prahlada answered simply, "Lord Vishnu." The court went silent. A king can tolerate an insult. But Hiranyakashipu could not tolerate the truth that refused him. At first, Hiranyakashipu tried to fix Prahlada. He sent him to teachers who specialized in politics, power, manipulation, how to rule, how to crush enemies, how to dominate. But whenever Prahlada returned, he spoke only of devotion. His father's anger turned to something darker: obsession. "If he will not bow willingly, I will break him." They tried to poison. Prahlada did not die. They threw him among serpents. The snakes did not bite. They trampled him with elephants. The animals stopped, trembling, as if something unseen stood between them. They hurled him from cliffs, drowned him in waters, crushed him beneath rocks. And each time, Prahlada returned. Not triumphant, not mocking, just steady. It was as if devotion had made him unshakable. One famous episode involves Holika, the king's sister, who had a boon that fire would not burn her. Hiranyakashipu ordered that Prahlada be placed on her lap in a blazing fire. But the fire did not obey arrogance. Holika burned, Prahlada lived. And in later tradition, this becomes part of the spiritual memory behind Holi, the burning of what is false and the survival of what is true. Now Hiranyakashipu's rage was no longer political. It became personal. At last, he dragged Prahlada into the royal court for a final confrontation. He shouted, "Enough! If your Vishnu protects you, then tell me, where is he?" Prahlada replied, "He's everywhere." Hiranyakashipu's face tightened. "Everywhere," he hissed. "In the ground, in the sky, in me, in this palace." "Yes," said Prahlada. The king's eyes darted to a massive stone pillar in the hall. Tall, silent, indifferent. He struck it with his fist and roared, "Is your God in this pillar?" Prahlada said softly, "Yes." And then what followed was not politics, not philosophy, not debate. It was a cosmic intervention. The pillar began to tremble. A sound rose, like thunder mixed with a roar that did not belong to any animal of this world. The pillar split. Light burst through the stone like dawn breaking through a mountain. And from within emerged something the mind could not neatly name Narasimha. Not man, not beast, but something that contained both and went beyond both. A lion-faced divine form, eyes blazing, mane like living fire, body immense with power. Not a creature of rage alone, but the embodiment of dharma responding. Hiranyakashipu stepped back for the first time in his life, but his pride forced him forward. He attacked. Now notice the perfection of what happens next. This is why the story is remembered as a kind of spiritual geometry, where arrogance tries to trap the universe in conditions, and the divine arrives from beyond categories. It was twilight, not day, not night. Narasimha seized Hiranyakashipu and carried him to the threshold. Not inside, not outside. He placed him on his lap. Not earth, not sky. And he killed him with claws, not a weapon. Not man, not beast. Every clause of the boon remained technically intact, yet the tyrant fell anyway. Because the deeper lesson is this: you cannot bargain your way out of truth. You can try to outsmart existence with clever conditions, but dharma doesn't need to break rules. Dharma simply arrives from a dimension your ego didn't account for. When Hiranyakashipu died, the court did not celebrate. They stood frozen. Narasimha's fury still filled the hall like a storm. The story often says the gods themselves hesitated to approach, unsure how to calm that intense divine force. The aftershock of justice. Then Prahlada stepped forward, not with fear, not with hatred, not with revenge. He folded his hands, bowed, and offered a prayer, not asking for riches, not asking for dominion. He asked for something almost impossible: let my father's hatred be purified. Let no one else suffer from the kind of pride that blinds the heart, and let me carry devotion without arrogance. As Prahlada's words rose, Narasimha's fury softened. The lion-faced lord looked at the child, this small human who had refused to trade truth for safety, and the cosmic storm became quiet. Then Narasimha blessed him, and the world, which had been squeezed under tyranny, exhaled. In many tellings, Prahlada is later made king, not because he craved power, but because he had proven something rarer than strength: steadiness without hatred. This is why the Prahlada story endures, because it's not only about a demon and a god. It's about what happens when a human being refuses to worship fear. Hiranyakashipu wanted to be treated like the highest reality. Prahlada understood something deeper. You can respect your father, you can obey what is right, but you cannot call tyranny divine. And the final truth the story leaves in the listener's mind is hauntingly simple. Power can command the body. Terror can command the crowd. But only truth can command the soul. When arrogance builds a fortress of loopholes, the divine doesn't break the rules. It arrives from the one place pride never looks, beyond itself.